finals who go to players from 5 different nations. It is, of course, the women's singles. Wang Yihan, the former world #1, former champion here, up against Tai Tzu Ying of Chinese Taipei. Well, all 4 previous finals going the full distance. As far as the Super Series standings are concerned, well, last year's champion here in Indonesia, Ratchanok Intanon, despite losing first round here this year, will remain #1 after this week's tournament. Tai Tzu Ying, even if she wins the final today, cannot overtake her. She will definitely be #2. But a player not actually on that list, Wang Yihan, currently at 11. If she were to win the final, she could shoot up 8 places. If she loses today's final, she'll go up 7 places. So she will definitely be on that top 10 before the next Super Series in Sydney next week. Well, as far as the women's singles draw is concerned, well, in the early stages, of course, that shock, as I was saying, to Ratchanok Intanon, last year's champion, losing in the first round. 2-time former champion Li Shui-rei lost in the second round. The world champion Carolina Marin was beaten by Wang Yihan in a thrilling semi-final yesterday. And Tai Tzu Ying disposed of the #6 seed. So there was 2 Chinese players in semi-finals. We're now with Wang Yihan, the 2011 champion here, against Tai Tzu Ying.
Champion of Badminton Asia Championships 2016 from China, Wang Yihan.
The 2011 winner here, the 2011 world champion, the winner of 20 Super Series titles already. Wang Yihan today competing in her 30th Super Series women's singles final.
World Superseries final champion 2014 from Chinese Taipei. Please welcome Tai Tzu Ying.
Tai Tzu Ying from Chinese Taipei. A 10th Super Series tournament final for her today. Just a second Premier Super Series tournament final. Caused a sensation back in 2010 when, as a qualifier and as a 15-year-old, she reached the final of the Singapore Super Series. In fact, she turned 16 on finals day. Women's singles final. The last of our finals this afternoon. Wang Yihan, the #4 seed, against Tai Tzu Ying. And Tai Tzu Ying, incidentally, is going to turn 22 in 15 days' time. So it was this time of year 6 years ago that she burst onto the world stage by reaching that final in Singapore as a qualifier. Currently #9 in the world ranking, as she has spent a total of 11 weeks as world #3. But as we saw from the Super Series standings, she's #2 on the Destination Dubai list. Never previously beyond the quarterfinal of this particular tournament. Last year, she was the #4 seed and lost in the second round to Linda Weni Fanatry. This year, well, she's done it the hard way. She's had to beat 3-seeded players back to back. In the first round, she beat Kusuma Stuti, who, after losing that match, announced her retirement. We all wish her well. In the second round, she beat the Olympic champion and 2-time former winner here, Li Shui-rei. Then Nozomi Okuhara, the All England champion and #5 seed in the quarterfinal. Yesterday, it was the #6 seed, Wang Shixian. So she's had to battle all the way, but she has been in tremendous form. I've caught glimpses of her matches and she's really looked very quick indeed. So to the #4 seed, the 28-year-old from Shanghai, currently #3 in the world ranking, but did spend a total of 118 weeks as world #1. Winner here in 2011, beating Saina Nehwal in the final. Last year, she was a semi-finalist, losing out to the player who lost in the final, Hashimoto. Well, her last 3 matches have all gone the full distance. Lina Kjærsfeldt of Denmark, first of all, and then quarter-final against number 7 seed Sung Ji-hyun. She was 8-15 down and 18-20 down in that third game against Sung Ji-hyun, and somehow managed to claw her way back and win it 22-20 in the decider. Yesterday, if you were with us, you will have enjoyed that semi-final against the number 1 seed, Carolina Marin. Again, she had to come back from being behind an hour and 19 minutes. That's a thrilling match. Well, they say an hour and 18 minutes. We're not going to quibble over that. 21-17 in the deciding game. I thought it was badminton of the very, very highest quality. Well, this will be the 8th meeting between these 2 players, and Tai Tzu Ying has the advantage in the number of previous matches won, but the last time they met, it was Wang Yihan that won. That was in the quarter-final of the China Super Series, so perhaps the home advantage helped Wang Yihan the last time they played. But of the 7 previous meetings, 3 times it has gone to 3 games. As we look at our court officials for this, I'm just wondering, Steen, can you recall the last time we had all 5 finals going to 3 games?
No, I can't really remember that.
We should get in contact with our friend Hans Christian Wittinghus, who's a great statistician, isn't he? I wonder if he's got stats on that. I certainly haven't, but... Well, both you and I got glimpses of Tai Tzu Ying earlier on in the tournament, and we both said she looks incredibly fit at the moment. She looks very trim. She looked incredibly fast around the court, and of course I don't think her world ranking of 9 at the moment does her justice. I mean, if you've been in 9 previous Super Series tournament finals, this is her 10th, then you're a class act.
On my right,
I have her as the favourite in this match. She's been battling tough opposition all the way through, and I mean, she's beaten Li Shuiru, who is in much better shape recently as a year ago or something like that. She's beaten Nozomi Okuhara, and she's sort of totally demolished Wang Yihan yesterday in the semi-final. I think she has the weapons to do well in this arena. Of course, we shouldn't rule out Wang Yihan. She shows yesterday that she's in great shape, and she's got all the experience that she can draw from. Started out on this side of the court yesterday against Marin and lost the first game, but it was a fighting loss, and then she took control in the second and the third game. I just think the deception playing style of Tai Tzu Ying is going to help the Chinese Taipei player.
2-1.
Yes, of course, she's only the 3rd finalist here at the Indonesian Open from her country. Men's doubles pair won title in 2010, Fang Jiemin and Li Shengmu. Women's doubles pair were in the final of the women's doubles of that same year. Chen Linsin and Chen Chen.
7-2-all.
And trying to become the first female player from her country to win a title here at the Indonesian Open. We saw from the draw, of course, there was 2 Chinese players in semi-final stage, and there's sort of been an assumption that Chinese women's singles have been dominating events for many a year. There's no question that they were totally dominant, but I had a little look at the record books earlier today, and since the beginning of the 2015 Super Series, so there was 13 events last year, if you count the Super Series finals as well, and this is we've had 4 already this year. Do you know how many Chinese players have won women's singles titles? Or should I say, how many women's singles titles have gone to players from China?
I think 2.
3.
3. 2 to Li Shuri.
Yeah.
And 1 to
Sun Yu.
Sun Yu. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and was the one to Sun Yu, was that, no, that wasn't Singapore.
It was Singapore.
It was Singapore last year, yeah.
Yeah. Beat Ratchanok in the final.
Singapore in a tough spot in the calendar, in my opinion, as it is the last of 3 Super Series, with the premiere just a week before in Malaysia. Often see some more surprising results if you have 3 strong tournaments in a row. But of course, this year won by Ratchanok Internon. Totally impressive, 3 Super Series in a row.
Yeah.
5-4.
First player, women's singles player, to achieve that.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, she's taken it. Well, we talked at length, didn't we, yesterday, about this dilemma for China with which of the 2 players to select for the Olympic Games.
And I guess the reason why we more or less think that Li Shuri is given as one of the 2 players is that she's won those 2 Super Series tournaments and has sort of shown that she can win at the Olympics. You might make the case that Wang Yihan and Wang Yihan got further in the tournament than oh, there's a challenge. Then Li Shuri, but Shuri lost to this girl on the other side, Tai Tzu Ying. So if she goes on to win the tournament, then that result changes its character a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I thought that the shuttle had landed in, but the challenge from Wang Yihan, and therefore we await for Hawkeye.
Yeah. It's one of those sliding shots. Not that tall, Tai Tzu Ying.
Now they've got the score wrong here because it's actually...
Wang Yihan, 1 challenge remaining.
I thought that happened at 6-4. So it should now be 5-6. An extra point has been given to Tai Tzu Ying.
Yeah. We talked about before that the situation around these challenges is a bit confusing. It's too confusing.
Yeah. The thing was, when the challenge was made, I noticed that the umpire had already used her touchpad, the score touchpad, and it was already showing point to Tai Tzu Ying. Then, having been proved that the shuttle had landed in,
another point was awarded.
Another point was awarded.
That is the problem, because I've talked to one of the Danish umpires that the touchpad do not have a challenge button. And very often the umpires are quick to push the point button, and then they look up and say, oh, there's a challenge.
Yes.
And then they should actually revert the previously awarded point until there's a decision. And since the umpires are not on challenge courts very often, they are also inexperienced in this system here, and that creates a number of situations that should not occur, because as a player you should not be needed to keep track of the score. You have the umpire to do that.
Yeah.
But and we saw it in the Thomas Cup as well. With Janno Jorgensen, we had a very animated Danish commentator back home in Denmark former player Jim Laugesen, and said he was almost on his way to China on a plane to prevent him from playing on, because now Wang Yihan has played on, so there's nothing she can do now.
Exactly.
If you play after that mistake is made, then it's irreversible.
Yeah.
Service over. 10-7.
I think that's one of the most important things for BWF to address regarding this challenge system. Wow, what a smash.
That's fabulous. Yeah, I agree with that. Because there is, and also whether the terminology used, challenge successful or unsuccessful, just tell us if the shuttle was in or out.
Yeah. And I mean, what if Wang Yihan had been alert to this? Then there was a discussion started, and it drags the other player into the discussion, and it totally corrupts the flow of the game.
Yeah.
It's especially difficult here in Storrs and Iron, where there's often a lot of noise. We saw some very bad mistakes during the World Championships last year in this arena.
Yeah, I mean, the umpires are in the spotlight as much as the players are, and you know, you couldn't pay me enough money to get into that umpire's chair. It's a very difficult job, but you know, it's very, very important to the players. The big prize money events, you've got to really get this right.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
And that's why you've got to have the most experienced umpires at the best tournaments.
Yeah.
I mean, then if you're going to have some final experience and you haven't had it before, then start with a GP Gold.
Sorry. I did speak to one of the very experienced umpires who's now an assessor for the umpires, a fellow Dane, and I was saying that, you know, we had this, oh, that's well taken, that is well taken. Why doesn't the tournament referee step in when he sees that the wrong score? And he said the tournament referee is actually not allowed to step in.
No.
He can only come into the court if the umpire calls for him. Or her, of course.
Or the players.
Or the players, yeah. Oh my goodness, how did you play that?
It's a great match so far. A little bit of the same pattern as yesterday, that the player on the far side of the court today, Tai Tzu Ying, is in the driver's seat in this first game, but not that much. Wang Yihan is there. Oh.
Oh, well taken again.
And she's had a little bit of luck over the last 3 rallies.
11,
well,
12.
In fairness, she deserved a little bit of luck, having the points given to her opponent.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with Wang Yihan's arm, if that's undergoing treatment or something like that, but maybe it's mosquito bites or something like that.
I noticed that yesterday.
14-11.
Yeah, hardly breathing heavily, Tai Tzu Ying. It's not very fit at the moment. It's interesting, neither of these players have won a Super Series title since 2014. That's why for Tai Tzu Ying, it was the Super Series finals in Dubai of 2014, December, and didn't she play well there? It's magnificent for Wang Yihan, her last Super Series title. It was the Singapore of 2014.
And it's interesting because around that time was the emergence of Carolina Marin to the international scene. So in many ways you could say that they probably have been a little bit overpowered. Not that they lost to her all the time, but I know that Wang Yihan had a couple of losses at least. And sort of the game has become, the women's singles game has become more attacking and more powerful, and might have had to adjust to that. I always thought Wang Yihan had quite an attacking and powerful game, but she's probably been bugged by injuries as far as I'm concerned. Seemed out of physical shape in a long period in 2015. Look at that arm there.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes, bed bugs, whatever.
Nice net shot. Oh, my goodness.
That's wide.
Oh, she's taken it. Brilliant. Well, she's always an exciting player to watch, Tai Tzu Ying.
Yeah, that was definitely wide.
No question. Little stamp there of frustration from Tai Tzu Ying.
But I actually think that she's practiced that element in her game. Also, we saw her smashing and coming forward and trying to win it from the front court. Some of the things that we've been discussing in a couple of the last tournaments that women's singles was developing. You couldn't win it from the back court. You had to be a good front court player. You had to have killing skills on the front court in order to do well in women's singles. I think Tai Tzu Ying has improved in that area. What a fantastic rally.
Oh, good clear.
Yeah, that's well played by both players. But mentally strong by Wang Yihan.
Yeah, you were making the point yesterday that certainly in the opening game, Carolina Marin seemed to be playing the much better.
Yeah.
But Wang Yihan was still close in points-wise, and she was still in there.
She was still in there, and she made the Spanish player work really hard for all her points. And this is one of the rallies that could give some mental points to Wang Yihan later on in terms of overplaced shots from Tai Tzu Ying.
Terrific deception.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one that did the damage, forced the short lift, and then the winning drop shot.
I actually think Wang Yihan needs to win this first game in order to win the match.
And your theory behind that?
Tai Tzu Ying is better than Carolina Marin at playing with the drift, because she's got all those little deceptions, and they're going to make life hard for Wang Yihan.
19-16.
Especially if Tai Tzu Ying gets confidence by taking this first.
Oh, yes. And that proves your point, Steen. Coming forwards, really threatening at the net. Look at her racket carriage.
Yeah.
That is fabulous. Game point opportunities, 4 of them. Well taken.
She's so quick there, Wang Yihan. That's the 3rd time at least in this game we've seen really good shots being tapped down by Wang Yihan, because she sort of senses that if it goes below the tape, she has very little chance.
Excellent opening game from Tai Tzu Ying. 21-17 in just 18 minutes. Well, we said she was looking quick. She is lightning fast. 21-17 opening game. Well, obviously we can't hear what the coaches are saying. You might be able to read one of the little badges on the front of Tai Tzu Ying. Solibads, it's a charity that's been set up. It's Badminton Without Borders, and we've been reading some press releases about some very, very wonderful work that's going on here in Jakarta. There's some orphans that live on a landfill site, full of rubbish, and they've been encouraged to try badminton. Rexy Nanaki and some of the other former great Indonesian players. And 3 of those children are now going to get some regular coaching, I understand, from some of those former great players. And of course, Tai Tzu Ying is one of the ambassadors for Solibad. There's a lot of the badminton players support that charity, and they do some wonderful work. And it was very heartwarming to see some of the children from that orphanage here yesterday. I understand they're here again today, and they all got terribly excited. They got excited about meeting Carolina Marin.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we are. You can clearly see the Solibad sign there. Wonderful that the badminton players get behind such a charity. So 1 game to the good, Tai Tzu Ying.
2nd game.
17 that opening game. What can the former champion do in response? Well, I know that you've said, Steen, that you favour Tai Tzu Ying for this final, but if you were advising Wang Yihan, what would you be saying tactically? What should she be doing?
Have to put pressure on Tai on the back court. Take control of the match, and I mean, there will be deceptions, and she's got to try to get to most of them, or she's got to try to get to all of them. but some she will miss. It's just that the more she gets back, the bigger the mental stress will be on the Chinese Taipei player, and mistakes like that might occur.
2-1.
And then whenever she's caught by one of these mistakes, she's got to be really ready in her defense. And a lot of times for deception number 2, she's got to leave the backcourt open quite a bit and hope that the Tai is not able to play it with precision, because she's got to be fast on the front court, Wang Yihan.
Amazing backhand. cross-court net shot from Tai Tzu Ying.
3-2.
Then whenever Tai lifts to the backcourt, try to play downward, not with a necessarily very aggressive shot, just keep it downwards to maintain the control of the rally.
Service over. 3-0.
Yeah. Perfect length on that.
4-3.
Flick to the back. Oh,
Yeah, and that's the beauty.
Delightful.
That's the beauty of Tai's game. That
Service over.
first of all, she can have herself free from under deep pressure on the backcourt, and then these small deceptions on the net make sure that she doesn't put it long, because the small deception takes away some of the power, and that was what Carolina Marin was struggling to do yesterday. She sort of played the power game on this near side of the court, and I don't think that's the correct way to go. Got to be able to maintain balance, maintain control of the rallies. If you lose balance, you will be unable to be accurate enough. Wang Yihan, I would push some of these service returns to the backcourt corners. The difficulty is that Tai might get under it and attack. And we can see the legs from Wang Yihan's legs, they are stopping a little bit. Can't read all the deceptions.
Wide.
Wide. Excellent play.
Well done.
Service over. 5-7.
I think that's the longest rally of the match so far.
And for the bigger part of the rally, Tai was in control and doing all these small deceptions, and it's really, really tough reacting to them all the time. So it will be very demanding of Wang Yihan, and one would think she can't keep on doing that. She can't react to them and still maintain her pace all over the match. But I mean, that's why she's so good. That's why she's one of the best players in the world.
Challenge.
Yeah, I think Tai is right.
Challenges, call in.
And this time, there's not been any change to the score yet.
No. Yeah, great challenge. Great challenge.
Challenge successful. Service over. 8-5. Play.
Well done, Steen. How on earth did you spot that from this distance?
If you guess all the time, then eventually you will guess right.
Yeah, a slight hesitation on that from Tai Tzu Ying.
Service over.
Well,
6,
I can tell you
8.
that after the rally, she turned to her coach and pointed to the back line again. if to say, what, did I have another one that perhaps was going out the back?
Challenge from Wang Yihan.
Yeah.
Wang Yihan challenges, call out.
No, neither of us are in a particularly good position to see that line. Was correct, was out.
Challenge unsuccessful. Service over, 9-6. Wang Yihan, one challenge remaining. Play.
Oh, that's a great shot.
That was fabulous.
Quick execution comes here and very precise. Not so hard, but very precise.
Big high serve. Forehand serve.
Wow. Reverse slice.
Yeah, forcing the error.
11-6 in the
And a
ball.
5-point advantage here in the second game, having already won the first. I'm thinking to myself, Steen, how on earth has Tai Tzu Ying dropped out top 8 of the world in a seeded position? But when you see her playing like this, it's just glorious to watch, isn't it? It's a delight.
Well, it often takes a toll on her to play many tournaments. Often there's strappings on her legs. She's
20
a
seconds.
fairly
20
small player.
seconds.
Got to work hard during the matches.
Changing. And John Bolt, two Chinese coaches.
11-6. Play.
Just wide.
But it's really, really interesting if Tai goes on to win these this tournament here in Indonesia Open. Then we've seen not so tall players, but fast players and technically skilled players win the last 5 or 6 tournaments. Nozomi Okuhara, Superseries finals and All England.
7-12.
And who won in Malaysia?
Ratchnok, 3.
Ratchnok won. Yeah, she won India, Malaysia, and Singapore.
Yeah.
See how late she sort of reveals where she's going to aim it. Tai Tzu Ying holds the racket out a long, long time on the front court before she finally hits the shuttle. And now let's not get ahead of ourselves.
No.
12-8 is not a big lead.
No, and Wang Yihan proved in her quarter-final when she was 8-15 down in the deciding game that she's a great fighter.
Service over, 13-8.
Missed it. Yeah. Desperation.
14-8.
And she simply can't read where the shuttle is coming.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, sometimes she can, but a lot of the time she can't take a choice a little bit ahead because it can actually go anywhere.
Oh, it's called just long.
16-8.
Good shot. Again, this quick release gives the opponent very, very little to judge the direction from.
17.
Normally, you use swing of arm and body posture as indicators of where the shuttle is going.
Yeah, she's just cruising it, isn't she?
Yeah. That's a whitewash.
Yeah. 3 points away from the title.
I don't think we've seen Tai make one mistake on the baseline of Wang Yihan.
2 points needed for the title.
19-8.
Match points, opportunities.
20.
And that was 8 points in double quick time from 12 to 20.
Yeah. Well, that was a fabulous demonstration from Tai Tzu Ying. 21-17, 21-8 in just 34 minutes. And with Tai Tzu Ying winning her 5th Super Series title, her first ever Premier Super Series title. Well, respectful for the fans. It does indeed mean that our 5 titles here this year go to players from 5 different nations. And it's only the 8th time that that has happened. Prior to it happening at the Malaysian Premier Super Series earlier this year, it was back in 2013. The previous time that happened, that was in India. But it's happened again here. 3rd Premier Super Series event of the year. And Tai Tzu Ying absolutely destroying the former champion in that second game. 21-8.
Women's single. Tai Tzu Ying, congratulations. This is a moment of a history, a major breakthrough for you to win Indonesian Open 2016, your first time. Would you please share the excitement and your happiness meeting all the supporters and also winning this?
这个你第一名，你觉得怎么样？
我很开心，因为今天现场的球迷都在帮我加油，很像我在台湾比赛一样。
Dia bermain hari ini sangat bersemangat dan Indonesia mendukung dan dia sangat senang sekali. Terima kasih Indonesia.
So she said she loved playing in Indonesia and very enthusiastic because of the supporters as well. Is there anything you want to say to all of us here, especially in Indonesia Open?
请你说一下对印度尼西亚人。
这边的球迷都非常的热情，然后每天的比赛都非常的多人，所以进来都有一种非常开心的感觉。
Supporter di Indonesia sangat ramah dan sangat antusias dan dia sangat senang dan tambah percaya diri di pertandingan ini.
So she said she loved all the enthusiasm of all Indonesian supporters and loved playing here and she wants to come back again next time, yeah? Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, champion of women's single, Tai Tzu Ying from Chinese Taipei.
First ever Premier Super Series title for Tai Tzu Ying. Having been beaten in the final in Malaysia earlier this year. And there is confirmation of how she did it. 21-17, 21-8. Well, Steen, as we wait for the prize presentation for the women's singles, with all 5 titles going to players from 5 different nations, it really does mean that badminton is in a wonderful place right now.
And we've got Another Super Series to look forward to next week. Couple
Yeah.
of Grand Prix before the Olympics in August, and I can't remember having looked more forward to any Olympics because I think it's widely open, most of the categories.
I concur. Well said, Steen. And I think of all the categories, I think women's singles is the widest open, with performances like we've seen today from Tai Tzu Ying, who wasn't even seeded at the beginning of the week.
and if she doesn't improve her 9th rank, she won't be seeded at the Olympics. Think about having her in your group.
Yeah.
The women's single champion from Chinese Taipei, Tai Tzu Ying.
Yeah, that's very sporting, very nice from Wang Yihan, applauding her opponent as she climbs on top of the podium. Tai Tzu Ying, the 5th Super Series title, but a very first premier Super Series title.
And Yihan with a look like, what happened?
Yeah.
Suddenly it went out of all control.
And it's still a dilemma, isn't it, for the Chinese selectors, because Tai Tzu Ying beat Wang Yihan by a very similar margin yesterday. Very similar scoreline.
Both players have recently beaten Marin, the current world champion. It's going to be interesting to see who they select.
Yeah. Well, Li Shuirui got 18 and 18 in the second round against Tai Tzu Ying. So if you go on scorelines, then your theory about Li Shuirui, the defending, reigning Olympic champion, should get the nod as one of the 2 players to represent China in Rio. But Tai Tzu Ying has a real chance herself. What a performance this week. Beating 3 seeded players back to back. And 3 seeded players of the quality of Li Shuirui, Nozomi Okuhara and Wang Yihan.
Up next, I'd like to invite Mr. Fuad Basha, Vice Chairman of Indonesia Badminton Association, to hand over the MetLife Trophy.
Outstanding moment for you, Steen, of the week.
Oh, yeah, what was that? That's a big question.
Carolina Marin against Wang Yihan yesterday?
No, I think the performance throughout the tournament of Tai Tzu Ying, because this is the first time we've had her on the TV court, but we've seen how fast she looked, how fit she looked, and how she sort of demolished her opposition. So it was really great to have that display on the TV court here in the final match.
The mascot, the legendary Haryanto Arbi.
Haryanto Arbi invited to present the mascots. Former world champion Haryanto Arbi.
Let's capture the best moment of today by taking a photo opportunity with all the executives of MetLife BWF World Superseries or BCA Indonesia Open 2016.
The presentation party will pose with the finalists for the last time here at this year's Indonesia Open. What a finals day it has been. Our first 4 finals going the full distance, going to 3 games. And what a display in the last of the finals with Tai Tzu Ying destroying the former champion and the former world champion, Wang Yihan, in 2 straight games in just 34 minutes.
Yeah, and we know that Wang Yihan was in good shape.
Yeah.
We saw that yesterday.
Which makes it all the more impressive, doesn't it? It has been a good week here in Jakarta. It's been a fabulous finals day. The 5 titles going to players from 5 different nations. It started with Japanese success with Matsutomo and Takahashi in the women's doubles. And then Zhu Chen and Ma Jin in their third consecutive final here retained their title, beating the world number 2, Go Sun Hyun and Kim Pa Na. Then Lee Chong Wei won an incredible 6th Indonesia Open title, beating the former champion Jan Or Jorgensen, coming from a game and 17-19 down, an hour and 5 minutes for that one. Then Korea had success with the world number 1s in the men's doubles, Lee Yong-dae and Yu Young-sung. Again, they had to come from a game down, an hour and 13 minutes before winning through 21-16 in that deciding game. And Tai Tzu Ying, her display throughout the tournament, the 21-year-old from Taipei, really has been superb. As Steen was saying, the Super Series moves on to Sydney next week. Steen and I will be there, but in the meantime, from all of us here in Jakarta, bye-bye.